Hello everybody, welcome to the final video of Tuesday, unless Kabam do something with the game and I have to make another video. But this one is going to be about the Paragon Gauntlet. Now, just going to point out for this video, I won't be able to kind of go into the quest. That's because I'm at the moment in Necropolis. I also do not want to feel tempted to press that button to go, let's start by doing that, and I start new and I lose all my progress because I'm really close to the Grandmaster and I don't want to lose that progression. See, I'm quite passionate about these things. The paths do my nut in, and I just look forward to that Grandmaster fight so much. Again, I'm not being sarcastic. I actually genuinely enjoy that. Most people that do Necropolis, if you ask them what is the best thing about doing Necropolis, rewards, number one, and the second thing is the Grandmaster fight, because the path fights are ass. There's a few kind of hidden gems in it, but in any case, let's get to the point. Paragon Gauntlet. So I'm going to be splitting this video into like part one, part two, with kind of like coverage of things. If you've seen and if you've done the event quest, especially at a Thronebreaker level of difficulty, this will be very much you know, you'll know all the nodes, and I think that's what I'll try and do for this. So if you want to check out the link in the description, if anybody doesn't want to listen to me prattle on, I would recommend going to the link in the description because it's got the write-up. I will be referring back to this here. It's got a section 1 and then a section 2 that is very much for, as we've got right at the bottom here, the Paragon Gauntlet Event Quest Challenge, which is your challenge of how to get the piece. So we'll talk about stuff with my, by the way, my team that I used for that particular one, which we'll be seeing footage of from time to time, which will be floating up on screen whenever, is kind of my team there. So I used Crossbones, Weapon X, Black Widow, Deadly Origin. Was it the right team? Maybe not. Was it a team that actually got me a good chunk of the way there and I didn't have any issue except for Bullseye? Yeah, like that's it. Like if it, as I say, like, you know, for a lot of people were using different champions. I heard a lot of people using Massacre. But in any case, let's start off with a little bit of advice for those that are doing it from a perspective of just approach for this stuff. So luckily I can refer back to, because I can't go into the quest to kind of check some stuff, at least what I can do is I can refer back to a previous spreadsheet where I've kind of like talked about some of the nodes of the champions. If you've done the event quest, you'll largely know what champions work. The strategy is making a decision to do that switch between going, okay, well, we've used two champions, I've used a champion here, and I'll then use my choice node to switch out for something else. So to give you an example, you could have in your, and this is something I recommend, if you've got Nick Fury, keeping Nick Fury in as one of those permanent champions from start to finish. Why? Well, Nick Fury can do the hood fight. It can also do the Mr. Negative fight, and I use it in an iffy way because, well, I used it and it worked. And also you could potentially use Nick Fury for the Bullseye fight. Again, it just depends. Like, Bullseye work, Nick Fury worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for everyone else, but that's what I'm saying. I'm referring to the idea of keeping one champion in for the constant of the fight. So that's like 6 fights. There you've got, then the other ones are slots that you can then change out. So again, another example would be, okay, well, for example, you could say I've got, let's get this up on the screen again. I've got a Mega Sentinel, and when it comes to the choice node, it'll be like, okay, well, I'll have a Mega Sentinel in from beginning, and I used Mega Sentinel against against Luke Cage, but I didn't use it again, and also I didn't use, and I used or it could be a case you start off with a Mega Sentinel. Sorry, let's get to the point, Rich. A Mega Sentinel and do Luke Cage and Hood, and then what I do is I switch, you know, a Mega Sentinel out and then bring Nick Fury in. Nick Fury then to do the Mr. Negative fight and as well the Bullseye fight. So therefore you've kind of used that choice node for that, keeping 2 champions in your team of 3, and then kind of like, you know, rotating to the means that you like. Like, again, another example would be, okay, well, for whatever reason, Dr. Doom right there could do the Hell's Kitchen Daredevil fight, but for whatever reason you're like, okay, well, I'll bring him in after I remove a Mega Sentinel. I'll do Mega Sentinel against Luke Cage and Hood, take her out, and then put, you know, and then switch it out for Nick Fury, or switch it out for Doctor Doom, or have Doctor Doom in and switch it out. Like, that's all about the combinations there. And I would say, again, it just goes back to going to something like this, going to the old event quests, kind of like looking at what worked, what didn't. Oh my god, I nearly did it then. Oh, I nearly put start new. I've got to, honestly, I've got to be so careful, guys, of like what, like I just don't want to. I'm going to stop kind of going into quests. I like to kind of like go into kind of show you what I'm talking about, but it's just one of these worst case scenarios that, because I haven't done this run, I am so paranoid I'm going to click the wrong thing and then lose my kind of like grind in. So to give you an idea, I'm up to Superior Spider-Man, Spider-Man Supreme. I've got 2 more fights and then I'm on to the Grandmaster. So I'm on the final stretch. So I got to be so careful now not to do it. But yeah, I mean, that's the point. Look, if you didn't get the point from this, is that it's just making those key decisions to switch up champions and also back yourself with certain things. So I would recommend to go and pop on some boosts if you've got some of the boosts that are not loading. What's going on with this game? There we go. So you got some boosts. Pop on some boosts if you're a bit worried about stuff. Put on champion boost, attack boost, health boost, and just blast through. It just means it's going to be, a bit more easier. So that's one thing. I would say synergization, but at the same time, there may be certain champion options that are going to be like beneficial for different ones. So it's not always plain sailing to go synergize for the remainder of it. But I would say it largely depends on what you want to do in the last stretch. The last stretch will be that choice node, which obviously is that one there, of making a decision between the end of Mr. Negative and then kind of setting up for the last 2 fights. Do you say to yourself, well, I know that White Magneto can really help out against Bullseye. So is it a case that what you do is you switch in White Magneto at that point there? So an example could be you start off with Nick Fury and a Mega Sentinel and White Magneto. Then at your choice node, you switch out Mega Sentinel for Absorbing Man. And then it's a case that when you get to the next choice node, because you've used Absorbing Man against Mr. Negative and Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen, which you might not do. But look, I've seen Absorbing Man take down Mr. Negative. So if it's kind of a case of poo-pooing it, don't poo-poo it. People are using it and effectively. But again, I'm just trying to give you an example because you might be like, okay, well, I'll use Nick Fury and Absorbing Man might be the backup. Or another champion would be the backup. And then what you're doing is you then switching out for Hulk at the last choice node to take on White Tiger. And then you've got Nick Fury putting in that White Magneto pre-fight. And then it's a case of using Nick Fury to take it down. This is one combination. I'm not saying like it's the entirety of the combination because it will be specific to how and what roster you've got as to how you're going to set up for the different fights. And of course, utilize those choice nodes based on availability and other things like that. So that really covers that side of things. There's a lot of champions that are kind of like Hood and Luke Cage that are very easy and doable. So it kind of means that you might want to switch or kind of figure out what is going to be, don't need to worry about for the first 2. But what will be important to take from start to finish based on reusing it for those key fights, which are White Tiger and Bullseye. Okay, so that's that there. Cut the video there. Just quickly onto the subject of the mercenary side of things. Mercenary is a bit of a weird one. As I said, the easy thing for me was saying that Black Widow Deadly Origin did a business for a lot of the champions or the enemies. Crossbones helped if any champions put something like a debuff on me, and of course having some heroes meant that I could go into my Overlord type mode, basically get loads of fury buffs and do a lot of damage, and that was helpful. I'm not saying that was the best option, but it was a really good option that I had as a 7-star and was doing a bit of damage. I didn't want to rank up a huge amount of champions, so of course making some key decisions. If I had Domino at a 6-star or 7-star, I would slap, but I did not have any of those champions. So therefore you do and use whatever you've got. It may be a case you don't want to rank up for this, so you may want to use revives and units in order to go through to the end. I don't condone that, but look, get those boosts on and try and do your bit. I would say there's a lot of champion options that work relatively well. I saw Absorbing Man, as I said a moment ago, do a lot of damage against many of them. And especially going into the Bullseye fight, I found that using Weapon X was kind of the go-to one, and it was hilarious, the amount of damage and kind of the ferocity that champion has, which was just kind of great to see. So yeah, Black Widow Deadly Origin was doing a bit as well, especially doing a lot of damage ramp up that she does with her shock damages. But I would say Massacre is one of those to look out for, as well as Hitmonkey, in order to help you out a lot, quite frequently across the way. So these were kind of the main champions that I've seen people talk about, and as well ones that have worked for me for these respective fights. So yeah, good luck to anybody who's looking for options, but of course look to rotate around these champions based off what you fought in Thronebreaker, and as well look at key options. But yeah, as I said, Domino, Massacre, Black Widow Deadly Origin, Absorbing Man, Crossbones, and Weapon X. There's a lot of decent options right there. There's probably more, but these are the ones that worked for me. And of course, my team, as I said, was that Crossbones, Weapon X, and Black Widow Deadly Origin. In any case, thank you very much for watching this video. Go and check out the spreadsheet if you want to just have a look at it. It's kind of in an infographic-y type thing. There's no particular breakdowns because you should have done the Thronebreaker and had in your mind how it works. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video and checking out the footage, and I'll see you all soon. Much love and goodbye.